I'm Dr. Vanita Rattan. I'm a doctor, but I'm also a cosmetic formulator specifically for skin of color. So today's video is all about the best moisturizers to use with your dark spots. Now for us, as you already know, one scratch, one bite or one burn, and we hyperpigment. So for us, pigmentation is a huge problem, and actually a lot of the treatments that were available were really designed for Caucasian skin. The reason being that Caucasian skin, you can literally peel the top layer of skin away and the skin will be fine. With us, if you peel down to the basal layer, you're going to be left with more pigmentation than what you started with. So actually we do need to be far more educated and empowered when it comes to our skincare, because the vast majority of skincare wasn't designed for skin of color in mind. It was designed for Caucasian skin. So this is the reason this whole channel exists, is because it's an evidence-based channel. It's a video library with everything that you need to know for skin of color. Nothing has ever been sponsored. Nothing will ever be sponsored. People do try and sponsor me and I keep saying no. But it's the only way that I can give you honest information that's unbiased in an age where it feels like everything is sponsored. So right, what are the criteria, first of all, for a great moisturizer to use for skin of color? I'm also going to give you my top 5 picks for best moisturizers to use with dark spots. And number 3, the purpose of using that moisturizer, and of course the mistakes that get made when you're picking your moisturizer to use with your dark spot treatment. If that sounds good to you, give me a thumbs up. Let's dive right in. Now, the purpose of your moisturizer is to basically create a healing environment for the skin. Your skin works optimally when it is hydrated. And this means that when you put your tyrosinase inhibitors onto the skin first, because you want maximum penetration, you then want to use a NAF-safe moisturizer on top. I'm going to go through what that means in a second, in order to trap water molecules in that top layer of skin so that the actives can work in their optimal condition. Right, so starting off with my criteria. First of all, I want you to use a fatty moisturizer. The number one mistake is people using a lotion or a thin moisturizer. The reason this is a mistake is because it has a high water content. Water evaporates from the skin and it actually leaves the skin feeling quite dry within an hour. And so you're not exactly creating that healing environment that I was talking about before. Lotions generally I do not like for skin of color, because for us we have less ceramides than Caucasian skin. That ceramides basically are the fat molecules that hold water in that top layer of skin. So imagine we already have less than Caucasian skin. That means that we need to have moisturizers with ceramides in them and a fattier moisturizer as well, so we have more occlusives. So that's the number one mistake. The next, second mistake I see is that the vast majority of moisturizers on the market have either denatured alcohol in it, fragrance, or essential oils. The reason I don't like these ingredients for skin of color is as follows. Denatured alcohol is a short chain molecule. It evaporates quickly from the skin and it draws water with it, which means your skin becomes drier. As I already said, we have less ceramides than Caucasian skin, so this is not something that we want. The second thing is fragrance. Fragrance is a number one cause of contact dermatitis. Honestly, it should have no space in skincare at all. I have no idea why there's so much fragrance in skincare. There's a handful of brands that don't use fragrance, which is why I'm constantly recommending them on this channel. But I really hope that with more consumer education, these brands do come out with fragrance-free versions, because it's a shame, you know, like the vast majority of skincare just, you know, we have to bypass when we walk in the skincare aisles. The third one is essential oils. Essential oils are often marketed as a good thing, but essential oils have that smell. That smell means that it's volatile. And so it becomes a skin sensitizer. It works along a similar mechanism to fragrance. Not quite the same, but it basically sensitizes your skin over a long period of time. And so when you see lavender oil or rosemary, can you just like run in the opposite direction, please? Because these things are not good for skin of color. Can you imagine right now we're trying to reduce inflammation and create a healing environment for the skin, for the dark marks to recover, and then you put on a moisturizer which has irritants in it. it's not a good combination. So that's something to look out for. The next one is I wouldn't use a moisturizer with ingredients that are likely to cause purging. So retinol is the number one thing I would say. I wouldn't use a retinol moisturizer on top of your toberosinase inhibiting cream because it can be too irritating. It can increase cell turnover too much and lead to more spots. And guess what? The spot leads to brown marks. So take care with that one. And the other one is high percentage niacinamide. I know we always talk about 10% niacinamide because of The Ordinary. They basically set the standard, but actually a lot of the clinical studies are done at 2 to 5%. At 10%, some people do react and leads to more breakouts and more pigmentation. So I would just make sure if you have a cream with niacinamide in it, that's fine. I love it. It's a great ingredient, but make sure it's in that 2 to 5% range. With the moisturizer, you need to make sure it has humectants in it. Things like glycerin, things like sodium hyaluronate, things like urea, because they basically hold water in our top layer of skin, creating that healing environment. And you want anti-inflammatories. We do not talk enough about anti-inflammatories, but for skin of color, it's key, it's fundamental, it's not optional. It's something that we need in our moisturizers, because for us, any form of inflammation triggers our melanocytes. So our moisturizers really should have anti-inflammatories in it as standard. So the ones that I love are things like panthenol, centella asiatica, allantoin, and silicone. Silicones aren't an anti-inflammatory, but they do create a soothing environment for the skin. And then we also want UV stable tyrosinase inhibitors. So tyrosinase inhibitors calm down the rate of melanin production. And if you're using this particular moisturizer during the day, you want to make sure it's UV stable. So something like licorice root extract is excellent. You want to have ceramides, of course, in our cream because we have less than Caucasian skin. And for us, we also want to use ingredients that stimulate collagen. So something like peptides, for example, are a great bonus. It's not necessary for a dark spot moisturizer, but it's just a nice additional bonus. Now, not all moisturizers were created equally, but I will be telling you the best that are on the market specifically for skin of color. So one thing I want to say is packaging. We don't talk enough about packaging. Packaging is essential. The reason is ceramides are unstable. A lot of ceramides are found in tubs or in creams that have oxygen around them, and this destabilizes the ceramide and makes it less effective. Ideally, look for ceramides that are in an airless pump without oxygen or light hitting it to make sure they're at maximum efficacy. So I just want to throw that out there because, again, there are going to be future products that are going to come out in the next few years, and this video is going to be seen over the next few years. So whatever's I'm going to talk about in this video, there may be new products available on the market, and I want you to pay attention to packaging. Okay, so let's start off with Cetraben. I love Cetraben. I talk about Cetraben all the time. I actually went onto the Boots website the other day and the first review was, I love Cetraben, Dr. V told me about Cetraben, which made me very happy. But yeah, Cetraben is brilliant. It is a fatty, nail-safe moisturizer. It's cheap. It's a great first option. It is basic. I'd say it doesn't have all the bells and whistles that I've been talking about, but it is nail-safe and fatty and will create a healing environment for the skin. The first ingredient here is paraffin, which is an occlusive and is great for dry skin. I actually think if you have dry skin, Cetraben's even better than CeraVe. CeraVe, the first ingredient is water, which means that it's going to be a lighter cream. Cetraben's also great for babies, so highly recommend it. I tend to buy them, by the dozen for my family's bodies. So yeah, I recommend it. The second product I love is CeraVe. It is a thinner cream than Cetraben because, again, the first ingredient is water. But then the second ingredient is glycerin, then cetyl alcohol. So glycerin is a humectant, holds water molecules. Then it's got cetyl alcohol and petrolatum, which are emollients. They smooth the top layer of skin, which means that you get better light reflection. It's got silicones in it, ceramides in it too. The only negatives with CeraVe, I know it's the most popular product right now, but there are a few negatives, and I'm going to start off with packaging. It's not in an airless pump. I think they even have the tub, and then you can buy the pump, but it's not an airless pump, meaning there's oxygen around the product until you start pumping. So that's one negative. There are no UV stable tyrosinase inhibitors in it, and there are no peptides in it. So it's better than Cetraben in some ways, but it's a good option, but it's not, you know, the best thing available. The next product I love, and this is Drunk Elephant Protini. Now it is an expensive product, but it contains a lot of great ingredients. It's got your emollients, humectants, and peptides. I love the packaging. They got it right. It's an airless, opaque pump. It is NAFE safe, so no denatured alcohol, fragrance, or essential oils. I approve. It's just missing a couple of key ingredients that I would love that would just take it to the next level, and that would be anti-inflammatories, tyrosinase inhibitors, and ceramides. But otherwise, it's a luxury moisturizer that anyone that uses loves. The next product is Paula's Choice Barrier Repair Moisturizer. It's NAFE safe. They did put in retinol 0.01%, but it is a low percentage. If you haven't got retinol in your tyrosinase inhibiting cream, then it's worth having a retinol in your moisturizer. You just don't want to double retinol your skin. It's got licorice root extract in it, which is the tyrosinase inhibitor that I was talking about. It's in an airless pump. They put in peptides and ceramides, humectants and emollients. I think bravo to Paula's Choice for this particular product. I love it. I would buy it. And this is not sponsored. And of course, there is Cera-Pep Brightening Moisturiser specifically for skin of colour. So this is the one that we made for you. In here, we basically put in peptides, ceramides, your tyrosinase inhibitors, put in derm stim, which stimulates collagen. So it's good for anti-aging. It's obviously got humectants, anti-inflammatories, and antioxidants. It also has niacinamide and licorice root, and you can have a look at it on the website down below, skincarebydrv.com. I've just put the URL into our description box. Don't forget to join our private Facebook group called Dr. V Sock Family, so Skin of Colour Family. It's a great place to talk about your skincare issues in a safe environment. Everyone's non-judgmental, everyone's going through the same issues themselves, so it's a fantastic group to join if you have any particular questions. So please do join that. Do follow us on Instagram, which is, I've got 2 accounts, Skincare by Dr. V, Dr. Vanita Rattan as well, and also TikTok, which is Dr. Vanita Rattan. Thank you so much for watching. I'm in the comment section for 1 hour at the launch of every single video, so please do hit that notification bell. Bye.